I tried to get video footage of me drilling the hole with a hole saw and then snipping it out with the tin snips, but it's pretty early and it's pretty dark in here, so the videos, you can see it, but it's not very good. So I just decided to kind of scratch that part of it, and I'll show you now, which is basically what I have. When I lined up the chimney, before I put roofing on, before I put the underlayment for the roofing on anything, I used a plumb bob to find the center of the chimney on the roof. Marked it and cut it out. Now it's an oval hole because that circle right there is going to be an oval when it goes through a 45 roof pitch. So I didn't want to try and cut the hole in the piece of roofing before I put it up, because if I cut it in the wrong place, I only have one extra piece, so there's only a little bit of room for error. So I decided to just cover the roof with the metal roofing and then take a hole saw right in the middle and then use tin snips to cut little pie shapes out. Now those little pie shapes are going to get folded down and cut off. The metal roofing is going to help protect the OSB from the heat, from whatever excess heat is coming off the stovepipe. Now this is double-walled insulated stovepipe. It requires 2 inches of clearance to any combustible material, which is wood. So I've got at least 2 inches. I think it's 2 1/4 inches all the way around. And then the metal roofing covering the OSB is going to protect it that much more. So I'm not going to trim the roofing back all the way. I'm just going to fold it in and cut the excess off. First thing you'll notice, number one, there's a hole in my roof. The other thing, I got this roofing up right in time. It actually started to rain last night. It wasn't supposed to rain for another 3 days, but it started to rain last night and I heard it start raining and I was like, you know, it's beautiful because I've got my roofing up. That's the hole for my chimney. That's what it looks like from the outside. It happened to land right in between 2 ribs. Beautiful. I didn't plan it that way, but it turned out that way, and it's going to make my life a lot easier putting the chimney in and the boot on and sealing it up, because I can put that boot right in between those 2 ribs and make sure it's really well sealed. I don't have to worry about it going over top of a rib and sealing it in the middle of the winter when it starts leaking or something crazy like that. There's the hole for the stovepipe. Trimmed up, folded out. Looking pretty clean. I'm gonna go ahead and get these other 2 pieces of stovepipe. I'm gonna connect them on over here. Go up to the roof with them. I have to put a bracket to help support some of the weight on these stovepipes. The stovepipes are pretty heavy, and the only thing supporting them right now is the metal box that goes through the first floor and the stove itself. And I'll show you all that stuff when I get done putting this stuff in. Before I put these pieces of stovepipe in and push them through the roof, I've got my lovely orange silicone high temp rubber boot that my county, well, there's 2 options for my county. There's this or a metal boot, a galvanized sheet metal boot. But that particular boot is supposed to go up underneath the roofing on the uphill side and hang out down on top of the roofing on the downhill side. And it's wider. There is no chance that I would have been able to fit it between 2 ribs like mine just happened to be. And it doesn't, this forms very easily. That other one didn't. So as much as I dislike the color of this ugly orange boot, I went with this boot. It's going to seal really nice. I believe I need to put a storm cap or a storm, I think I call it a storm cap. It's like an adjustable band that goes around, and that's galvanized metal. And I believe my county requires that around the top seal also. So that'll cover some of the orange. See if we can assemble these real quick. Twist them in there. Locked in place. Simple as that. A little bit of butter. Alrighty. So we've got the stove down here, double wall chimney pipe going up to the box that goes through the floor. From out of the floor, double wall insulated stovepipe. We've got a bracket up there to help support it. And I tightened the bracket up when it was just the little ears there were about a 1/4 inch below the little studs they're screwed into. Tighten the bracket around the stovepipe so when I sunk the screws into those studs, it would help hold some of the weight up. It didn't look like it was going to hold a lot because it looked like it was kind of sliding on the stovepipe coming up, but it was worth a shot to try and keep some of that weight off everything down below. Lots of clearance around the stovepipe. Kind of hard to tell. You got the clouds in the sky reflecting off the chrome, so it's hard to tell how much room there is, but there's room. Up on the top of the roof, we have our beautiful orange silicone rubber gasket around our stovepipe, all sealed into the roof. It did end up coming right in between those ribs, but I still had to wrap the gasket up over the edges of the ribs. The manufacturer for that boot states that if you're working with a 45-degree pitch roof, a 12-12 roof or greater, they want to see it put at an angle with a tip at the bottom and a tip at the top instead of squared up. So that's why it's not directly inside those ridges. It would have fit directly inside the ridges so I didn't have to go up and over, but that's the way they want to see it installed on a 45 pitch or greater, so that's the way I did it. And then we've got our chimney cover cap, whatever you want to call it, on top of there. I don't know if I need a storm collar for that orange boot or not. I am planning on going back up there and putting some orange high temp silicone around that boot just to help seal it in case any of the marks from the scissors want to leave a little leak or leave a little drip. I don't want any kind of water getting in my house. So I've got to go get some of that and get a little brush, squirt a nice bead on there, brush it on, seal it up real good, make sure it's nice and tight. And then if I put a storm collar on it, the storm collar should cover a lot of that orange boot, but I don't know if it's going to fit on a 45 pitch. So the storm collar may not work, but it'll be well sealed, guarantee that. We still have to cut 2 vent holes for the plumbing vents. I haven't done that yet. That's coming up probably tomorrow, I would guess. I'll cut those holes and get those boots glued down, sealed up real tight, so I don't have to worry about any leaks in my roof. Until next time, guys, go make something.